Oh, hello, I didn't see you there. It seems that you've caught me playing with Diceself. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time zone it is, wherever you're in the world. It is your Lord and Saviour with episode 3 of season 2 of the Playing With Diceself podcast, where this sad British goth boy plays TTRPGs by himself. The TTRPG in question being Wraith the Oblivion 20th Anniversary Edition, using my own homebrew rules. The Hopeful Damned, a homebrew in 2 parts. Part 1 has a bunch of adventures that you can run for your players in a normal group session, and the other part is a bunch of solo rules that allows you to play Wraith the Oblivion of any edition, whether it's 1st, 2nd, the Great War, 20th Anniversary Edition, by yourself. And it also includes a solo adventure, so if you have no idea how to use Oracle tables on your own, you can use that adventure as a leaping off point. And we actually started this series with that very adventure with our Wraith Taylor, as we did things for our friend Lucreta, which led us into the 2nd session where things got very spicy indeed, where we went and avenged our partner. We caused a whole load of shit with our foster sister, who, through dice rolls and backstory generation, we have determined they're quite the influential political figure within the Nameless City. And we also entered a catharsis where the Shadow took over and we shanked a renegade Wraith, completely killing them off right. And we learned the location of a Puppeteer-knowing Wraith thing, and that is where we're going to head straight into the 3rd session. And we're not going to start with a random scene generation, we're just going to go straight into the scene in question. But before we do that, we have to do a little bit of housekeeping. At the end of the previous session, I awarded myself 3 experience points, and because I earned 3, it means my Shadow gained 1 experience point. And I also forgot something during the combat with the renegades, in that when we entered Catharsis, the tainted relic, the knife that we used to kill our foster cop dad, is the tainted relic. And we had decided during the session 0 that when we use it to kill figures of authority, which we decided that these Wraiths are clearly the ones in charge here, well, we killed one of them and made the other one shit themselves. Whenever we use it to inflict damage upon them, we have to spend a point of pathos, and I use that dagger 3 times. Twice to do the 2 sabby stabbies, squared with the Wraith who's now no longer with us, and I also use it a 3rd time to leave a harmful warning strike on the remaining Wraith. So actually, I need to knock off 3 points of pathos, so 1, 2, 3. And as we're entering a new session, I'm going to use this opportunity to see if I can get any of that back by rolling on my Memoriam background, which I use to reflect upon the memories of those who remember us. So, which for us, we had decided that was going to be like some bench that was put up in our foster dad's name by a mother to try and hide away the fact that it was some robber who intruded onto the house and killed Daddy Kings, and we tried to run away from the fear of it after attempting to stand up to this horrible criminal, and we got hit by a car. And we generated that very specific scenario with scene generation rolls. So I'm now going to roll 2d8 of the Memoriam rating, which is 2, at difficulty 8, and for every success I get means I will get a point of pathos back. In fact, is it actually difficulty 8? It is in fact difficulty 8. So let's roll the 2d8. Oh no, what a great way to start. So I rolled a 6 and a 1. There's no 8, so that's a failure, but the 1 means it's a botch, which means the Memoriam rating is permanently going down by 1. So we now have 1 dot in Memoriam, so we don't obviously get any pathos back. And it kind of leans into what I was suggesting. I think it was in the session 0 that you have these memoriam benches and whatnot all the time, and people don't really give much thought to the people who they're dedicated to. So already the memory of us through that bench is dying away, which also paints a lot really about our foster mums thought of us. If it's the memory and the affections of us are already beginning to die away. So if we go by the book's definition, that only one person or a very small amount is going to remember us. So yeah, that's bleak, really fucking bleak for our kid. So I think with that out of the way, hopefully things are going to look a lot better for us. And with that out of the way, I think we can actually start running this game properly. As we generate some scenes and some information regarding this Wraith, so we have a bit more of a firm understanding what exactly we're walking into, and actually where we're taking Taylor, because we didn't decide that at the end of the session. We decided through roles in the previous session that this Puppetry-knowing Wraith is not part of the Puppeteers Guild, so we can imply maybe they're not too well versed into it, but they don't need to be, as long as we can get off on a good leaping off point. But I don't want to make assumptions here. Just because the creature here was a slightly stronger, if we use the hopeful damned terminology here, doesn't necessarily mean that, of course. So we can generate the overall stats of our NPCs of a simple power scaling level from much weaker, slightly weaker, similar, slightly stronger, and much stronger, all with a single D10 roll. And that's what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to grab one of my D10s that I'd use for my character and roll and see what we get. So we've got a 7, which is slightly stronger, so okay, the same bracket as Lucreta, which makes sense. Maybe it was someone that was part of the circle, or a contact of theirs, maybe. Who knows? So what that means is that if we have to roll dice with this individual, they're going to be having a dice pool of either 5 or 6, which is slightly stronger, I feel. It also gives an idea of their experience within the underworld, and their knowledges and all the rest of those little world-building tidbits. So now we're going to actually generate the location with the scene generation tables and work out exactly where we're walking into and what we're walking into. So I'm going to grab my big old dice bag and have a different set of D10s to determine the scene generation stuff. And I'm just going to grab the first ones that I see as per custom. So we got this purple and gold one, and I've got a black D100. Black and blue, so we'll use that instead. And obviously the 20s, well, I'm reading the number 20, but obviously the D100 is the one that we're going to be using for the 10s, and the other one's going to be using the units. However, we also need to grab a third D10 for the Oblivion die to see how much of an input our shadow is going to have. And I think I just saw, yes, we've got this sort of misty sort of greeny colour, which is different enough from the other two to know exactly which dice that's going to be. And we have to roll the Oblivion die when doing scene generations, random scenes, or binary rolls to see if the shadow is going to have much input somehow with the what's going to be happening next. So let us roll on the scene type activity table. So that is 73, and I'm not going to be including the Oblivion die results unless it's the shadow gets involved. So 73 is going to be present, and another 73. Wowzers. Present luxury, which is very different, actually, from what one would usually associate with the Puppeteers Guild. Although, as I said, they're not part of the Puppeteers Guild, it's just my storyteller meta-plot-induced brain is thinking that they usually that those with puppetry would probably associate themselves with the Renegades because it breaks the codes of Charon, as it were, the laws of the dead, like appearing in the Skinlands via skin-riding mortals, and depending on how well-versed you are, how easily you are able to manipulate their bodies. But present luxury, from my understanding, this is somebody who's obviously is in a very luxurious part of town, which is very different to what I described a moment ago, of you being a renegade, and also the sort of environment that Taylor would perhaps not be so well accustomed to as well. But if I do employ the storyteller metaphor brain, part of the reason why the puppeteers love using it so much is that they use it to feel, you know, to walk around in somebody's skin again, you know, to have these, like, secondhand numb, I guess, emotions through feeling and operating other people, even though they're just like skin riding them and not having any input, they're still in a flesh meat skin, as it were. So maybe this individual has taken a liking to some very luxurious upper class members of society, and I'm trying to think how long into the day now. We woke up on this day, I say about 11. We've taken a few hours like to go, hear about some whatever. So maybe it's like early evening, late night sort of thing, early night sort of thing. So dusk, twilight sort of period, time thing. And Taylor is sort of like going about, walking about. And it's going to take her a while to walk there anyway, to this particular location. She might like hop through a bus or whatever. But they're probably going to arrive in this very swanky part of town, like a load of nice houses, well, like on the suburbs sort of thing, where the housing is much nicer. Maybe a lot nicer to where they grew up, because we ascertained through previous roles in previous sessions that this family, the Foster family, were well-to-do. Like, mother was a doctor, somewhat influential, dad was a cop, daughter's a politician, so you can imply here that they have, and I'm implying here that it's all like private doctors and whatnot, so they have a lot of money, like in a well-to-do place. But I think from what we're presenting ourselves here, pun intended, is a much nicer place, I think. I'm going to use another scene generation roll to see if we can add to this a bit more, just to like pad it out a bit more. Right, so we got 93, we're getting all the threes. 93 is happenings. And 38, path. Happenings path. Well, this implies to me that as we're arriving at this sort of like twilight period, like 4 or 5 in the afternoon, early evening, there's quite a bit of hubbub. There's like some sort of formal gathering, as it were, like a party sort of thing. It could either be one or two things. Is it going to be like very well-to-do sort of people, like coming in for like some formal banquet, like black suit and tie thing, or it's going to be like some rich kid is having some sort of party and everybody and their fucking mother is coming in to completely trash the place in pure upper class, middle class, teenage snobby style. And I think what we're going to do here, we're going to use a binary roll to determine what that would be. And it's kind of interesting to think what would be considered as the positive or the negative outcome here. Taylor wouldn't like either of them, but I think Taylor would feel a lot more comfortable if the mortals, the quick, would be more at roughly their age. So at least they're able to have, Taylor would feel at least comfortable and know what to expect sort of thing. So we're going to use the positive die to represent teenagers and the negative die to be the adults. And it's not really going to have much of an outcome, just it might affect how well we interact with whatever wraiths and whatnot are inside. And it's interesting. So this puppetry-knowing Wraith is inside such an active place, and we can probably use scene generation things to work out what's going on here. Well, it's fucking obvious, isn't it? There's a lot of fucking partying and excitement going on, so a lot of exciting emotions, and, there's probably going to be some sex and some drinking, all really great feelings for most people to endure. So positive represents teenagers. And we got a 10... Oh, I didn't actually decide. Actually, I should do that again, because I didn't decide what was actually going to be the positive die here. I will use the bigger one with the D100 as the positive die. Close call there. I'm going to say that the two noughts on the D10 are a 10, because it's a 10 on the other thing, which is, as it's a lower number, we'll say that's a 1. So it landed on a 10 on the D100 and an 8 on the negative die, which means that there's a lot more teenagers here. So this is a teenage party of some description. So I imagine that the cars that we're seeing parked outside the path, all teenagers and people being dropped off, whatever, in fairly good clothing. It's all not like suit and tie sort of thing. Maybe it is. Maybe it could be like a suit and tie thing. It could be like an after school, after college party sort of thing, like a prom sort of thing. Well, then again, we did decide with session 1, that it's sort of an autumn period. So why would they all be highly dressed in that time of year? Actually, we'll come up with an interesting reason for it. Let's use another binary roll to work that out. We'll just say that it being a more casual thing rather than suit and tie for like some sort of like prom party thing for the kiddie winks will be the positive die, because again, the whole highbrow nature of it, even though it's just teenagers fucking about, will probably make Taylor feel a bit uncomfortable, because that's not what they're used to wearing. So we'll go for the more casual attire for the positive die. Okay, so we got a 9 on the positive die. Oh, it's a tie, so it's actually they're both 9s. So what we're going to re-roll one of those die, and it's going to be an unexpected outcome. So I'm going to grab the negative die and hope that I'm going to get a smaller number. And we've got a 1. So what this is an unexpected positive outcome. So what I feel that this is going to be is that just to make Taylor feel a bit more at home with the scenario here, because we haven't actually ascertained the day that this is. And I imagine Taylor to sort of be like this alternative, punky sort of character. I'm imagining that what we have here, it's Halloween. That today is Halloween. And all these kids are turning up in Halloween costumes. And the reason why that this may be significant is that any Arcanoi that would affect the skin lands for us to cause any trouble, potentially, would allow us to... it would affect the shroud rating by a significant amount. Because, you know, everybody's all spooky, ghosts and whatever. And I don't think this house is going to be this person's haunt. So I think that it also now explains why this Puppetry-knowing Wraith, this puppeteer, is here rather than being the Puppeteers Guild Wraith. Sorry, distractions. Why this puppeteer is here, and I'm assuming there's going to be other ghosts here because there's this big fat party in this big fat house. It's Halloween. It's going to be easy to cross over to the Shroud, so they're going to be experiencing a lot of emotions and things too. So this is going to be a huge fucking gathering of wraiths with puppetry, and I suspect there's going to be some haunters here as well. Maybe a bit of spooks, and I'm using those terms to describe the predominantly wielding Arcanoi, Pandemonium, and Outrage, respectively. So we entered this big fat house. I'm imagining it's just like a 3-story mansion as wide as far as the eye can see sort of thing. This big old winding path that winds up towards the house. The cars parked on the side of the road, cars parked awkwardly on this green here. Maybe for good effect there's like a big fucking fountain, like some like Greek-inspired display going on. Music is booming from these illuminating windows. The house is shaking sort of thing. And because from what I'm describing, I'm imagining that this house is, and as I said, a very well-to-do part of the Nameless City, but it's also by itself, so to speak, like its neighbours is like a good few minutes walk away rather than being right next to each other sort of thing, which sort of creates the impression that this is a very wealthy household, and whoever's holding this big Halloween party is going to be having a whale of a time. And because we are Wraith, we have heightened senses, which means that this music's going to be exceptionally loud. Like, I think the club from Body Electric in the first session was pretty loud. I think this is going to be mirroring that quite a bit. And Taylor is probably feeling a bit uncomfortable with everything that's going on with all the music and whatnot, but she feels a bit more at home at just seeing a load of people of all sorts of ages dressed up in like different costumes and whatnot. And I think we didn't get any results on the Oblivion dice, so I think that she's actually going to be like smiling and enjoying themselves a little bit, just like smirking, like moving along with the music. This is more their crowd. I think Body Electric was too far in the gothic nature, or maybe it's not. It's just the fact that they are with people their age, like 16 to 18 year olds, or like college, school sort of era, which in America I'd say is your high school. I'm obviously not American, so I'm going to be using British terms in it. So they're sort of like moving about, but like almost bumping into each other, moving out of the way sort of thing, like looking around. We've already established there's going to be quite a lot of raves here, so she can probably see like a lot of like individuals, whatnot, and she can probably see puppeteers like just slipping into mortars and whatnot. They're probably like other raves just like making out and like having a good time, whatnot, in this well-to-do house. But it's kind of interesting that this has become like a bit of a hot spot for these raves in this particular scenario. And it's a big old house to fuck about and do whatever, and I'm sure this is going to clap us in the arse cheeks later on. We have been given a description about what this person looks like, and we have been given the name of them, obviously. So I think we should now perform a perception and investigation roll, I think, which is not a fantastic dice pool for our friend Taylor, but we're going to try it anyway. Reading expressions I don't think is going to count here, but let's see what happens when we roll them dice. But just because of how packed it is, and Taylor's having to work off somebody's description of what they are, I think we're just going to make a roll of difficulty 7. Oh, 4 successes. Nice. So I think Taylor is looking around and immediately catches the puppeteer, so to speak. And I'm going to use a scene generation roll to see and work out what this wraith is doing, or it may help me give a description of what they may well look like. Now, I could use... Actually, no. I'm going to go back a few... We're trying to work out what this individual looks like. So we're actually going to go back and use... I'm not going to focus too much on this. I'm going to use some of the appearance and attire tables in the backstory generation chapter to generate some very general appearance-based themes. Rather than focus too much on like culture and whatnot, you can envision what they may sound like. And of course, as I roleplay them, it's going to influence things a bit more. So we're going to decide on their hairstyle, just something that we can immediately catch on to. So that's a D10, so I'm going to roll a D10. That's a result of a 6, which gives us they have their hair in a bun. So right old fucking douchebag. Right, so what's the length? D4. Well, it's a bun, so it's... I imagine it's quite high up, sort of tight, be medium sort of things, like length rather. I'm going to go for colour, because why the fuck not? And that's actually a D12, so I'm going to grab the first D12 I can find. We've got this sort of like magenta colour here, lovely stuff. We got a result of an 8, so it's green, so we got this individual with a green bun, and I can go back in there. So immediately that's going to be quite striking, and I suspect if they either didn't die like this, they probably used Molliate or something to give it that different colour. Let's decide on some fashion style, and for that we need a D20. I'm going to grab the first one that I see, and I grab this sort of like reddish one. Another 8. Ethnic. Green hair and an ethnic style. I get hippie. I get hippie vibes from this individual. Like stoner hippie vibes. Probably not what the result entails, but you know what? It doesn't have to be. You can bend things however you wish. So now we're going to take this in generation dice, the D100s, and the binary roll to see if we can work out what this individual's doing. Like, because we got 4 successes, and clearly something caught the attention with Taylor here. It might have just been the green hair, but we're going to like create, you know, a bit of well, the scene here, hence the scene generation. Okay, so we got a 2, so that gives us beginning and 40. Beginning outside influences. Interesting. Now, I get 2 things of this. I think we just described this individual as like a stoner sort of vibe. At least that's the image that I'm getting to mind. So it's either that, and they're gonna like slip into somebody who's like, you know, smoking some weed in a garden or something, or Taylor is not only going to be able to see them, but it might be some like other individuals that might be causing a bit of trouble, because this is clearly a huge break of the dictum mortem here. So there's probably going to be some Legionnaire activity like spying or whatnot, and it may cause some trouble for us. So obviously we want this puppetry wraith to be a stoner and skin riding somebody so they can get high with them. So I'm actually going to replace that D100 because I'm already getting confused about which number is which, and I'm going to put out another black D10 because I've just seen this black and red one, which I've used before, but that's fine, and we're going to use that to determine the positive outcome. Then we're going to use this as the negative die, and no, we're replacing the blue one, so the black and red one's going to be the positive die, and the purple's still going to be negative, so let us roll that with the Oblivion die. This is fun. So, the negative die got an 8, the positive die got the 7, so we have now decided that this is the Legionnaire present, and I think that is what Taylor has caught from their eyes. So they've seen this individual, but they have also seen the Legionnaire presence, but we also got a 10 on the Oblivion die. So, that is a lot of fun as well. This individual is not skin riding anyone at the moment, and Taylor is like, doesn't want the Legionnaires to be involved here while they talk to them, so Taylor is going to very quickly like move past people, like moving through them as well. I'm not going to expend any corpus here because I don't think it's necessary, and she's just going to go up to this individual's name, who I should probably work out here, and I'm going to use a separate book to determine what that may well be. So I'm going to be using the Great Book of Random Tables. It's more of a fantasy sort of thing, but I have bookmarked some human names for moments like this where I can't come up with names on the fly. I need to decide whether they are male presenting or female presenting, and I'm actually going to go back to the pronouns table in the backstory generation. So that's going to be a 5. So he. So sort of masculine presenting. Go to one of the male names. So there's 3 lots of tables. I have a D3 somewhere that I'm going to roll to work out which table I'm going to roll on. That should be in the gimmick dice slot. Yes, I have my dice organised, not just by colour, but their actual fucking usefulness. What the fuck is the cunt? Aha! So it's just a regular D6 that just goes up to 3. So let's roll that. 3. So we're going to go to table 3 in the male human names and roll that D100. Actually, yeah, let's roll it again. And that is a 6. So their name is Hayes. Cool. So I'm now going to write that down in my list of NPCs, which may come up at a dramatically later moment. There's obviously now a sense of urgency of getting to them in time with the Legionnaire presence. We're sort of implying here that the Legionnaires are going to pounce on at any moment. But are they actually, or is it just Taylor being paranoid? Preferably, I think we'd like it for Taylor to be paranoid and the Legionnaires don't strike just yet. So let's roll on that binary roll. I'm not going to include the shadow die here because that is yet to take effect. So, ooh, that is close. So the positive die was an 8. The negative die was a 7, so they swapped over. So this is just Taylor being paranoid. So we're not going to do any rolls here to see if they can get there in time. Like, they're going to get over to them, and they're probably going to put their hand on Hayes' shoulder and goes, Hayes is going to like jump and turn around and like, yo, dude, what's up? Yeah, sticking with the whole stoner vibe for a second. Sorry, I've been looking all over for you today. And like they're sort of panting, going through the motions. Like, yo, dude, you're right. You don't need to be panting here. You're dead. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. I'm going to stand up and he's going to point towards where she saw the Legionnaires. Like, the Legionnaires here. I want to talk to you, but I don't think we've got much time. And I'm going to be looking about. Does Hayes see this as a genuine threat because they just may be so blasé, as it were? Blasé? They may be so out of it, as it were, that they don't really see much of a threat at all. Preferably, we'd like them to see that it's a possible threat, so not going to include the Oblivion die because it's not happening just yet, but I know what to do. That's a 9 on the negative die and 3 on the positive die. So, like, it's fine. It's not a problem. Like, just come and enjoy the pie. And they'll just hold their hands like, no, I don't want to enjoy the fucking pie. Look, I've been looking for you all day. I need you to help me. Like, you know Lucreta, you know, really hot goth chick. It's like, oh yeah, how is she? It's like, it's fine. That's not why I'm here. Look, she said that you can help me with a bit of puppetry. Like, can you, please? So I'm now going to use this to roll charisma and expression to see if we can get the Wraith to pay attention. Now, this is 1 dot, and because I have no expression. So what I'm going to do, I am going to spend a point of willpower to guarantee myself 1 automatic success. And then get a 9. And this is where the shadow is going to be involved, because they are going to spend a point of angst to re-roll that die. And it's another 9. So I think what this represents here is that Taylor, you know, as I kind of alluded to, is a very urgency, and they kind of feel like this sort of energy or swell within it, or like causing them to hesitate a lot more with their words, and they have to really force themselves through it. And it's not quite enough successes. Like, it's enough for the Wraith Hayes to pay attention, but they're not really feeling in the mood for it. So, oh, come on, please, we don't have much time.
Oh, Taylor, relax, sweetheart. The whole world does not revolve around you. Clearly they don't know their arse from their elbow. They're just as pathetic as you are. Just give up now. Enjoy yourself.
Please. And like, she's gonna like give a yank at the arm sort of thing, and the guy's like just gonna push him away. It's like, you're really beginning to get on my nerves. Like, we're all trying to have a fun time here. Do you know how rare it is that we have so many people coming here wanting to celebrate? So much emotion, so much lust, so much good vibes, man. You just said we're dead. Does it really fucking matter? You don't understand. This is what puppetry is all about. You don't just take control of people to do what you want. Yeah, it's a fun part of it, but you want to feel, man. You know, really get in the shoes and know what it's like to feel like it. I mean, if you were a bit more enthusiastic about our cause, you know, wanting to have a fun time here, then I might be able to help you. But it doesn't matter if you're a friend of Lucretia's or not, then sorry, I don't think I can help you. And he begins to turn away, and Taylor's going to snap back. Do you think Taylor is really going to be happy that she has sent me all the way to come and look for you? All the shit that I have been through today, just for you to act like some fucking bitch-ass stoner? Look, if you want me to do something, I get how it works here. I wasn't born yesterday. I'll fucking do something. But for fuck's sake. What do you think Lucretia's going to think of all of this? How it's going to make her feel? How it's going to make you look? And I think we're going to make another attempt at a charisma and expression. And we're going to up this to difficulty 7 because, you know, it's a bit pressing, a bit desperate here now. And we're also invoking the spirit, literally, of Lucretia. So we're actually going to add that dot of contacts in here, so we've actually got 2 dice to work with. So. It's a botch. It's a fucking botch. Oh dear. And I think at this point, Hayes is just going to get really fucking annoyed. It's like, he just happens to looking down. Wow, what a fucking brat you are. You know what? You're really getting on my tits now. Just fuck off. Get the fuck out of my way. And he's going to begin to walk away. And Taylor is just going to be taken aback by this.
Wow. Really handled that well. What are you going to do next? Call for your mummy? Have a little cry of sock in the corner? Wow. You couldn't have made that worse even if you tried. Fucking pathetic.
And Taylor is just going to be like, standing there, white knuckling, you know, hands by their side sort of thing, just pissed off at the attitude of this individual and the frustration that she has spent all day looking for all of this that's going on and just unable to do anything. Like, what does she fucking do now? I mean, sure, there are other wraiths about, but that's not coming to her at the moment. That's just the frustration and the unfairness of this situation, just feeling really angry and not being able to get this person to listen to them. See, if this was one of my players at a regular game, I'd use this opportunity to spring the Legionnaires upon them. And I'm going to use a binary roll to see if that actually occurs. So, obviously we're using the negative die to represent the Legionnaires spinning on this, because this is the last thing that Taylor wants. But we got 2 ones. So what this actually means is this is an exceptionally negative outcome. So what this means is that if this was a regular negative assault, I mean, this would be the opportunity that the Legionnaires would spring upon this crowd here. Maybe there are other Legionnaires who are skin riding people just to fucking keep an eye on people. They're using them as spies to try and capture other skin riding wraiths, as it were. But because it was an exceptionally negative result, I think that we're not going to get much of a chance to get away. I think what this means is that there were some Legionnaires that were listening on the conversation, specifically listening onto Taylor, and I actually think with what we've been doing all day that we may have had Legionnaires just fucking following us. I'm actually going to do another binary roll to determine that. Have we been followed by Legionnaires all day? I think obviously that the positive die is going to... We don't want to have been followed because this implies there's actually going to be a lot of Legionnaire fucking presence on our ass. So let's hope we get another negative result, please. Oh, fuck me sideways. Oh, no, fuck. Double fuck. So it's another to negative result. So the 4 was on the negative result. The positive result was on a 2. But we got a fucking Oblivion die as well. So the shadow is going to get some fucking input in here. So I think at this moment, as we're standing there, we're going to get pounced upon by a number of Legionnaires. Fuck, I'm going to roll my D3 to determine this. 2. Right, 2 Legionnaires are going to fucking grab us. I think one's going to try and grab us on the arm and take us away as all shit is breaking loose. Whilst the quick are enjoying the rest of the party with all like this modern dance music or whatever it's fucking like 16 to 18 year olds fucking listen to these days. I got no fucking idea. But it's like, you know what I'm trying to envision here. Whilst all of it is normal, within this place, it's all going to shit within the Shadowlands as Legionnaires come all over the place, as we're going to be using the exceptionally negative outcome to say that this place is more Legionnaire than Wraith. So this is a planned attack that they knew that this was going to happen, and there are Legionnaires everywhere. So we are being pounced upon by these Legionnaires, not going to get much of a chance to escape, but we are going to obviously try and roll away from here. So this would be a strength and a brawl roll, and this is going to be a contested roll, I think, and we're going to say that these Legionnaires are going to be much stronger, just to really hamp up the direness of this, like the real danger of this scenario. So they're going to be having pools of 7 and 8, which is a lot more than what we have here, but it also means they have a lot more chances to fail. So we've got this Wraith behind us who's like Wraith on each arm. No, one Wraith is going to like grab us and like put like a full Nelson sort of thing and attempt to drag us away, and maybe the other one is going to like attempt to tie us up in those chains to prevent us from escaping, so we get captured by them properly. So we are going to roll our 4 dice to escape. Now I'm actually going to spend a point of willpower to give myself an automatic success that cannot be cancelled out by wands. So let's get some of these dice out the way. Right, so we have, oh, that's lucky us, we have 4 successes, sorry, 4 successes with the dice, and then with the willpower, that's 5, so 5 successes, that's fucking fantastic, great start. However, with the Oblivion die, I just remembered, fuck my memory, we are going to spend another point of angst, so we can increase our chances to be captured with the bad luck and re-roll. Okay, so I'm going to metagame a little bit and just re-roll the 1, because the Shadow is trying to gain a bit of angst a bit more, and we've already spent quite a bit, so I'm going to re-roll this one here, and it's exactly the same number. Fuck me, that's twice that's happened now. Thank you, dice gods. So it doesn't work. There's this swell of dark energy in them as someone's been trying to, perhaps it for a brief moment turns to Taylor's muscles to like jelly as he like begins to struggle, but we need to roll for this Legionnaire with the pool of 7. I'm going to say this one's got 7, and whatever this other one do with these chains is going to have 8 to really make things spicy. They need to beat 5, so it's quite difficult for this individual. What do they get? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 successes. So we are just able just to slither away just a bit. Maybe it's because it's like a margin of 1, maybe it's not quite enough to break free properly, but it's enough to give us a bit of like leeway to escape. Like they're holding onto an arm sort of thing. And it's going to move on to the other individual who's now probably going to attempt to tie us up with these chains whilst we're like struggling away with all this screaming and hubbub going on. So they're now going to use I'm going to call this a dex and melee roll for these like Reaper chains to like tie us up. So we said this they were going to have a pull of 8, and this is still going to be against those 5 successes. This is all in the same thing. Right, so what do they get? Oh dear. 5. What the fuck is this shit? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 10s and a 6. What the fuck is this shit? The picture's going to appear on screen now because this is just fucking bullshit. Fuck you, dice gods! So with 6 successes, I think that chain just begins to work like maybe we break one arm free, and as our arm slings forward backwards, it begins to wrap us up. And an arm is sort of like it's going to immobilize a little bit, and Taylor's obviously going to do their fucking best to get away right now. Technically, I should be splitting the dice pool in half, but what I'm going to do, because that's going to give me such a low chance of escaping, my chances are pretty low anyway, to be honest. What I'm going to do, I'm going to roll the 4 dice, and if I gain 2 successes, it's going to break away from the individual who is holding us on the wrist. If it gets the 4 successes, it's going to break away from the one from the chains. So we'll still have quite a bit of legwork to do. I won't make this a contested pool, that's from how I'm rolling this here. Just to speed up the play a little bit. Okay, so we got 2 successes. So that is enough just to snap away. Maybe just to snap away from the person that's holding us. We still got this person on our arms. on the other arm with the chain, and they are probably going to like begin to pull us closer so they can properly begin to wind us up. So what this is going to be, this is now going to be a proper contest. It's going to be their 8 dice against my 4 breakaway. So it's going to be 8 against the strength plus brawl from before. They're the attacker, so they'll roll first. So this is oh, they didn't get any fucking successes. Now that may seem like a really good thing for us because they rolled 8 dice and not a single one of them was a success. But the only way this can go really badly for us is that we get a botch. And I don't want a botch, so hopefully this will give us enough to break on through to the other side. We really need to fucking break free here. So, 4 dice, let's fucking go. Fuck off! Fuck off! 2 1s, 2 and a 3. Fuck you, Dice God, you fucking cunts. Wowzers. Okay, so they failed, so we don't actually pull away, but they don't exactly do much either, so we kind of, I think at this point, they failed to pull us forward, but we sort of fall on the floor a little bit. As we fall over and we trip, we would probably have to spend a turn to get back up again, what with a chain on us. This is enough of an opportunity for the Legionnaire to grab us, pick us up, and let his matey bollocks to begin to wrap us up in these chains. So, and then we begin to be escorted away by these Legionnaires. So we've been captured by the hierarchy. So I think at this point, as we transition from the next scene, we do have to do a random scene. So there is the opportunity that we do get rescued, potentially, or it could get a lot fucking worse, to be honest. But knowing my fucking luck with these shitty dice, it may go worse. So let's see what happens. We got an 8. Half of 8 is 4. So a random scene does occur. So let's roll on that D10 table to see what happens now. 6. Something positive happens to an EPC? Something positive happens to a PC. Okay, so there's a chance for us to escape. So we're going to go to the scene generation tables, including the Oblivion die. Actually, fuck the Oblivion die, because something positive is happening, and nothing positive is happening with the Oblivion die. The only thing that positive could happen is with the catharsis, and we do not have enough temporary angst to do that. So what the fuck is happening here? So let's just roll on the scene generation tables. Oh, and we're going to use the black as the D100 to replace the D100 from before. 83. Help. This is good. And 10. Help enemy. Help enemy. Okay, so what would the enemy be here? The only thing that comes to mind is literally Hayes. That we were just speaking to, because we don't really have any enemies here. So I think with this puppeteer here, these other people are going to ambush us, because remember, all this stuff happened in a few seconds. That we've been pounced upon, grabbed, tore away, chained, thrown on the floor, tripped over rather, picked up and escorted. So that all happened within a few seconds, even though it took us like fucking 5 years to roll on the dice. And as we begin to escort away, I think that Hayes, who had just begun to walk off, it's like him and his other Wraith buddies are beginning to like tear away at these Wraiths, like, and they sort of drop their chains a little bit, is enough for us to let go. And Hayes, who's sort of at the front of it, is like, come on, we need to go. And I think Taylor had the whereabouts like to pick up the chains as a weapon. Because there's that chance that could happen again, and Taylor wants to be able to defend themselves, but I think in the heat of the moment it's quite likely that they wouldn't do that. But I'm going to roll for it anyway. Not going to include the Oblivion die, because it's all within the scene of something positive is happening, so let's fucking get that positive result, please. And we do. We got a 9 on the positive die and a 3 on the negative die. So the chains drop. Taylor is picking up these chains and, you know, wrapping them up and, like, running through away with Hayes out of this building, like, as everything's just all coming to shit. We're going to spend a point of corpus because, remember, as far as the party is concerned, everything is going all right, but we're sort of running through, and we phase through the door, like, very quickly, and we need to expend some of that to phase on through, running out of it. And I imagine there is more chaos and whatnot as other race begin to scarper as people come into the party, because it's like, as we said, like 4, 5, 6 in the late evening. So I think at this point we're going to do some dice rolls to see if we manage to get out properly. So that would be a Dex and Athletics roll for Taylor. We're just going to assume that Hayes is knowing where to go, and we're not going to involve them unless something drastic happens. So Dex and Athletics, so that's going to be 6 dice. This is probably a pretty fucking good one for us. And I'm going to spend another point of willpower, just to guarantee that we get at least one success, so things don't become a bot. So standard difficulty, 1, 2, 3... plus the willpower, that's 4 successes, that's more than fine. Yeah, we managed to fucking dart our way through the maybe like legionnaires that come at a little crossroads sort of thing. Taylor has done her fair amount of running away from cops and whatnot and other dickheads, like maybe leaping over the fountain and whatnot. And Hayes is like running through this suburb. I imagine him not really taking things all too seriously. He's sort of like laughing a bit of it. And I think that sort of familiar feeling with Taylor is sort of coming through, and I think that's sort of like gonna be laughing with them, as they're gonna be laughing at the situation as they like dart away into safety, and some of these other wraiths follow them as well, because we said that Hayes was accompanied by some friends here, and they sort of run away into these suburbs. And I think this is either going to be part of the neighborhood or it's going to be like a woodland. I'm just going to say positive would just mean it's in the woodland, so we're completely far away from all of this. I'm going to use odds is going to represent no, it's a binary roll, so binary roll still without the Oblivion die because it's still within this positive scene here. Positive is going to be in a wood somewhere. Yeah, so that's a 10 on the positive die and a 2 on the negative die. So we run into this woodland bit, and I imagine in Taylor's head they'd hear like the breaking of like tree branches and like the scrunching of leaves upon the ground in their head as they're running away, but they just hear like the kind of, I'd imagine they'd also hear their breath as well running away, but of course they're not fully accustomed to Wraith, so they're being dead, so they're sort of going through the motions of breathing as it as they're running away from this scene.
Run as fast as you can. No one can catch me because I'm a fucking pussy.
And Taylor's just continuing to laugh at us being able to escape with these chains in their possession. And I think this is the artifact of Nudri's chains, because the Reapers have like a special chain, and I think this Legionnaire has this as a artifact sort of thing. So having spent far too much time looking online in various books, because I thought that the chains that the Reapers used had a specific stat for them, so I couldn't find anything. So I'm just treating this as a whip weapon. I'll work out the actual properties later towards the end of the session, but basically I imagine that as Taylor is running through, slowing down with this group of individuals, human nature of just breathing and getting her breath back is like coming through, and I've realized, oh yeah, I'm dead, I'm not really tired. She's able just to holding the chains, just making sure that people are they're probably giving each other high fives and whatnot, manage to get away or whatever, just panting or whatever. And Taylor's just get off her relic bag and just drop the chains in her bag, which probably add a bit of weight to it, of course, but it's not really all important for a Wraith now, is it? But she's got that big old chain as a weapon now. So she has something to defend herself with beyond the tainted relic, which she still has no idea about. And it probably makes a very loud, noticeable as it sort of falls into place sort of thing. And Hayes will probably just step forward, probably no longer out of their fucking head, being stoned or whatever. It's like, you okay there? It'll probably make Taylor jump a little bit. It's just, no. Yeah, no. I mean, it didn't hurt. She'd probably have a look at her wrist. There's probably the little marks of just where it's tight rather than what it actually hurts. She picked them up. I mean, why not? It stops them from using it. And I think he's going to react in one of two ways. He's either going to be really happy or really annoyed, because we're sort of leaning a little bit that there's a lot of the renegades now. Also, from what we ascertained from the previous session, at the fact that this renegade, the one that was left, knew about Hayes. Obviously, we would want the positive result to be Hayes approving us taking their weapon. So that is a 9 on the positive die and a 1 on the negative die. So yeah, I think they approve. Said, yo, nice, dude. And just pats him on the shoulder sort of thing. Look, sorry about earlier on, but we couldn't leave you like that. That's just cruel. Yeah, no fucking shit. And maybe if you listened to me, we wouldn't be in the fucking situation to be with. And they'll just have a little bit of a stand of, really, that's going to be talking to me as I just saved your life. Thank you for saving my life. But you still didn't listen to me. No, You're right. I didn't. I don't usually listen to fucking kids. And there'll probably be a little bit of murmur and laughter with everyone that's there. It's just... Well, thanks for that. I guess I'll be on my way then. Oh, hold on. No, I thought you said you knew how this worked. What do you mean? And it's sort of like, as she says that, I imagine that the little gears sort of go around in their heads like, oh, right, for favours.
You really are fucking stupid, are you? That or really fucking entitled. New toy. Saviours. You just want to run away like a fucking pussy. Piece of shit.
Fine. What do I owe you the pleasure for saving my life, Hayes? Well, as you put that so nicely, there is something that I think you could do. I'll just show you appreciation, and maybe, if you've got what it takes, I might be able to teach you a little thing or two about some puppetry, as you've clearly got a lot of emotions that you need to get off your chest. So what is this goal that Hayes has for us? Let us roll the scene generation table. Ooh, nice. The Shadow's going to make some sort of comment here, I think. So, we've got 68, very near to a nice number. So, open. I'm going to get rid of the Oblivion die, because obvious. And 62, a little further away from a nice number. Interruption. I'm going to need a bit more inspiration for that one, I think. So, open interruption. 76, doubt. Open interruption, doubt, path. The doubt path bit to me is sort of leaning towards, and this is the thing that I comes up with, Hayes not being too sure of this kid because of the whole attitude of Taylor, which is understandable given what we know about Taylor and how we've been portraying them. But the open interruption bit sounds to me like Hayes was, funny enough, was in the middle of some business and all of that was interrupted because of the Legionnaires, and I think Taylor's going to have to act in some sort of delivery person, as it were, for this shithead stoner. You see, fun thing I find with stoners, they're either the most chillest people or they're the most arrogant dickheads. Like, there's no bit in between. And of course, the Shadow is still going to be inputting this somehow. So, we're going to roll on another one. Hayes has some business to do, and we are going to be serving them for it. 29. Take. And 72. No, 27. Sorry. Mental. Take mental. Okay, so this... So there's some business... So... Hayes was tasked to spy on... Hayes was spying on somebody, and now we have to go and play on this little spying mission. So we're going to be watching for somebody. Who or what? 63. Ambush. We've already had enough of those for tonight, for fuck's sake. And 68. Ambush. I'm going to swap one of those letters around because that's just a bit silly. So 68 is going to become 86. So ambush illusion. Ambush illusion. Okay. So the way that I'm now interpreting this is that they're going to be walking away from the rest of the renegades as they try and they get their breath back together. How much do you know about me? Not a lot. Well, clearly you're some fucking stoner. You're the renegades. And you know a bit of puppetry. Is that all? Yeah. Why? Leans forward. What have I told you if I was Pup of the Puppeteers Guild? I didn't think you were. That's what I want people to think. And I think he sort of straightens him up a little bit, because the illusion bit here implies to me that we've been deceived. And of course we can change these story beats in an instant. Clearly you've got a lot of feisty energy, and you're clearly wanting to hurt somebody. But are you prepared to do some good in the world as well? Well, the people I want to hurt are fucking scumbags. Really? How so? Well, and I think she'll like allude a little bit towards their dad and how he was a particularly good person. I think at this point they'll mention their sister, the whole construction site thing, and the renegades, and then conversation towards that. The Shadow laughing at the back of the head, but of course this doesn't mean anything to Taylor. Hayes is sort of like bobbing along, so right, let's see. Well, they do like sound like some fucking scumbags. And your sister, Molly, has been giving some of us a little bit of shit. Well, some of the renegades a bit of shit. They don't know I'm part of the guild. So maybe, if you're prepared to just to stir the hornet's nest a bit more, might teach you a thing or two. And who knows, if you're really good with puppetry, it might get you involved with the guild. I appreciate the offer, but I don't think being a part of a guild is my cup of tea. I think we've just demonstrated tonight that you can't handle yourself by yourself. You get too absorbed in your emotions, all the wrong ones. I managed to survive long enough by myself. I don't need much more help. You came to me wanting help to take out your family, and you're dead. So clearly you weren't able to look after yourself. Alright, smartass. So what is it? Well, I was actually spying on somebody, and because of this Legionnaire drop on everything, it kind of ruined everything for me. So I want you to go and find them. And then do what? Let's see what happens. Not running the Oblivion die, because again, the Shadow's going to make a comment here somehow, I think. So we got 85 passionate and 54. For a second I thought that said pounding. I thought this was going to get very weird, but no. Passionate funding. I've been spying on a well-to-do Legionnaire, a member of the hierarchy. We suspect it was her that put the whole drop on the place, connected to the family whose house we were at. We want you to do some more rolls. And I'm using the royal we then. I don't know why I said that, but whatever. Oh. 69. Nice. Nice. 69. Clumsy. And 24. Energy. Clumsy energy. Taylor will probably go at this point. Why do you think... How do you know she's a member of the Legionnaire? She was a spy. She let the ball drop at the last fucking minute. Obviously, we want you to take her out. What? You want me to kill someone? It's kill or be killed. If we hadn't saved you, they would have melted you down. What? Melted? Yeah. What do you think those chains are made out of? What do you think the walls and the Shadowlands are made out of? What do you think will happen to the race when they capture you? They melt you down. Or, fun part, they can make you a slave. You're having a fucking laugh. You're not smart, are you? Chains. Why would they use chains? Why can't they just use special handcuffs? Chains. And I think that just sort of like stops Taylor in her tracks. It's like the gravitas of the underworld just sort of sinks in a bit more. And I suppose that Lucreta just gave it like the hierarchies, the government, the renegades, the anarchs sort of thing. I don't think they would have been told that much, especially from how we discovered each other. And Taylor just sort of like stands there and...
You've killed before, you know.
What? She'll say out loud. And Hayes will go, yeah, again, it's better to be in numbers in the underworld than it is to be on your own all the time. And he'll go off in a little bit like that, but she's listening more to what the Shadow's doing.
That's what I did. Two wraiths became one because they were giving you a hard time. So I helped you, took that knife that Daddy gave you, and killed him. Stabbed him in the heart so many times. It was so much fun just seeing the life drain from his eyes.
No, Taylor will say out loud. Hayes will interrupt. What? And realise that she, again where she is. Sorry, I didn't. And Hayes will just sort of look at them. Shadow, huh? Apparently I have killed before, so fuck it, why not? Let's go and kill a bitch. And I think she'd just sort of like sit there, just like her face just withering, her doing her best not to fucking cry at the moment.
Boo fucking who. You do realise that you would have killed somebody eventually in the Skinlands. For all the cool gangsters you hang around with, all the kids that you sold drugs to and from. That was the path you're going down. At some point, one of them people were going to give you a knife, gave you a gun, just popped some caps in some asses, and go and shank a bitch. This was training. Your time is now, Taylor. Show the world what a vindictive, heartless little coward you really are.
And I think in all of this, she might just not notice that Hayes is actually being a bit compassionate and just like putting her arms around her. And when it comes to, like, she sort of stiffens up because someone's touching them, and then just like just sort of squirm away a little bit. It's like, don't fucking touch me. So he'll just put his hands up. I'm sorry. You're going through the motions of crying. Clearly, you've gone through something. you killed before and you didn't know. Yeah. Apparently the shadow can take over. And then she'll remember the bit about the knife. She'll open her backpack and just like go through the chains. And all that's in the bag is in the chains. Like, apparently I did it with a knife that I used. What the fuck is this wrong with everything? Oh my god, it's so messed up. You just sort of nods, just unsure what to say. Will he know about tainted relics? Let's do a binary roll. See what happens. No shadow die for this? Yes he does. He's gonna like squat down with her, as I imagine she just slumps to the ground. The shadow's got powers. No shit. Sometimes I just do really badly. It's like I've got like a load of bad luck or something. Yep. And the shadow can take control and just produce weapons. Apparently the knife I used to kill my dad came with me. Yeah. The bag's a relic. Yeah, Lucreta told me that. The shadow can sometimes have relics of its own. You want to talk about it? What's there to talk about? If I hadn't killed my foster dad, I wouldn't be here. I ran away because I was scared of being arrested. The shadow's right. I've lived on the streets all my life, just doing things and shit for people. I have no life. Just delivering drugs and God knows what else to people. It was going to happen. They're going to set me up at some point, but I just did it myself because I lost my temper. Why did she kill her dad? Because we kind of alluded in the past with the Session Zero that it was sort of to do with the whole not approving of the relationship there with Courtney, is their name? Yeah, Courtney. So let's actually use the scene generation rule to work out what's going on. And I'm not going to include the shadow die here because it's like a backstory thing, and the shadow's already been involved in this. And, you know, as I said, it's primarily a backstory thing. So 52, we have withdraw. I think I know what this is going to be just from that word alone. 46, but to flavour it, withdraw blood. Fucking hell. Yeah, this to me is like, oh, you leave them or you're not part of this family. Like, family's thicker than blood sort of thing. And the dad was like prepared to like go to some extreme fucking lengths. Maybe not kill Courtney, but more move. Actually, I'm going to do a binary roll for this. Is Cop Dad threatening to kill Courtney over this? Negative result, no. They didn't. I think that's the preferable one here. Yeah, it was a 4 on the negative die. So yeah, Dad was gonna fucking lose his shit and was preparing to like take him out, you know, just to get rid of this woke nonsense of it were, stop corrupting the mind even further. And I don't think the mother was present for that, for the mother to paint all this up, or maybe they did to go to such... Maybe that's why they were covering up, because it was going to come out that Daddy Kins threatened to take a life, and Taylor took there first, and Taylor's just going to explain all of this, and just... You kind of get why you want to take a bit of revenge, as it were. And tell the truth. Sort of rub her nose, just going through the motions of crying. I want to be with Courtney. I can't do anything. I want to be with them. I want to be able to protect them more. Like, I woke up this morning in my haunt. They were there with somebody else who took advantage of them. Yeah, they had a rough morning, but... Okay, so they felt really itchy. Their arms were bread raw. The bread's fucked it, but... Still going to see each other. Courtney is going to see them more than they will see me. That's not right. I miss hugging them. I miss the warmth on their skin. I miss feeling warm. I didn't think I would ever do a long distance relationship, but this is fucking ridiculous. I miss holding them, I miss kissing them, I miss waking up and just seeing the life come to their eyes. I miss all of it. So yeah, a lot of this is wanting to go and make my actual dad a fucking gangster suffer, making my mum realise that she's a fucking bitch. But I want to see Courtney. I want to be with Courtney. And I don't know how well they'd cope if they saw me as a wraith. And Hazel just put their arm over them. It's like, that is why we learn puppetry. That is why we advance it. That's why it's such an important arcanoi. The hierarchy, they don't allow it. It breaks their rules. There's not a lot we can do with it. But apparently we're not allowed to feel things. That's messed up. Bad enough it's happening in the fucking Skinlands, and now it's happening in the Shadowlands. Oh, Taylor. It's been happening for centuries. And yeah, it's only going to get worse with the more dickheads that come down here. So, you take out one person who's making life difficult for us, we'll teach you puppetry. How's that? And maybe we can start working on it together and go through the whole initiation process, if you want. I know you're keen and all. It's still very weird. I have trust issues. Yeah, so do I. What's the whole stoner thing and vibe? I'm actually going to do a binary roll for that. I'll just say that positive isn't. Positive isn't. It was a 9 against a 3. So him being a stoner, it was a whole charade, and he just explained that. It's just a front that I set up just so people don't take me seriously. Just like, because nobody, thinks much of the court gesture. Well, it worked well. Yeah, I get it. We're a secretive bunch. We hide in the Renegades. Because they've got the heart in the right place for sure, but it's more of a safety in numbers thing. So you do this. You keep an open mind? Sure. We won't make any promises though. That's absolutely fine. But I know that you'll do the right thing. You can take out this bitch. Let's go shank a bitch. I'll go shank a bitch. It's all like clap hands together, and Hayes pulls them off the ground. The start of what I feel is going to be a brilliant friendship, potentially. Depends what the dice will entail for us. And I think that is a rather emotional place to end the third session. I tell you what, I did not intend for any of this to happen. We're all generating this on the fly, and with dice rolls and whatnot, it comes up with some very, very interesting results. So yeah, we're sort of not being with the Renegades, which is where I thought this was going to go. We're sort of moving a bit towards entering the Puppeteers Guild, which is all exciting stuff because it means I get to get at the Puppeteers book at some point, which is going to be fun. But of course, it all depends on how well we take out this bitch. Of course, he could be lying to us. This woman could actually be a very useful individual to us. Who knows? I don't fucking know. Like, there's so many ideas that could happen with this, but the joy of doing things solo, that you generate things on the fly, and it's just sort of, I'm having so much fun with this. Like, at the end of the previous session, I had this fucking stupid grin for a good hour because I was having so much fun just playing Wraith the Oblivion and coming up with this weird and twisted story, and just knowing the weird dark ways that this is coming down. It's just an incredible experience, and you too can experience solo Wraith the Oblivion by getting the Hopeful Damned now. That's right, this homebrew is now available for free on the Storyteller's Vault. Although if you want to like give me a little tip for it, I'd really appreciate it all the same. You can now play Wraith the Oblivion by yourself using this very homebrew, and you can also run 6 awesome one-shots for your friends, so you don't have any excuse now to be playing Wraith the Oblivion because it's inaccessible. You've got a bunch of one-shot adventures to start your amazing games, and who knows, you may be able to find a certain Phoenix-oriented doctor in one of those adventures, if you know what I mean. So, I hope you have enjoyed this session and you're enjoying this whole season of Playing With Diceself. We're playing Wraith the Oblivion by myself. Tune in next time as we try and work out who the fuck this individual is, where we can find them, and a whole action plan to do a bit of sneaky espionage and killing a bitch with or without new weapons, toys, and God knows what else these dice are going to throw at us, because there have been real interesting rolls of this. and I just can't wait to see what happens. And also, Lucreta isn't being well informed of this puppeteer, so we're probably going to have to chase that up at some point. Who knows? We'll try and work out what happens next time in episode 4 of season 2 of the Playing With Diceself podcast. And I'll see you next time on the next upload, whatever that may well be for you. And until next time, farewell.